You've come to the garden nursery and you're not quite sure what shrubs to plant in your garden for flower arranging. I'm Julie from Julie Davis Flower Workshops, and Flower Start, the online flower arranging classes. Come with me as I decide which plants would be great to have in the garden and use for your flower arranging. This is a really good greenery to grow in your garden for flower arranging. It's a Choisya ternata. You can see that the leaves have a rosette form, and in the summer it has little white flowers that look a bit like mock orange blossom. And here it is in flower. This is Fatsia japonica, and I really like this plant. It grows in the garden or as a house plant. It's lovely leaves, and the great thing is if you go to a florist and buy Fatsia japonica, the leaves are absolutely massive. Of course, if you're growing them on your own plant, you can chop them off at whatever size you like. And I quite like using them when they're really small, not just the huge leaves, but the small leaves as well. So a handy greenery to grow in the garden or as a pot plant. This is Spirea, and I've got a similar one in my garden called Spirea Bridal Bouquet, but this is a different variety. I particularly like here, I would use this when it's got the buds coming out, and then they will open out into pretty little white flowers. Actually, I prefer it at the bud form to give added texture into your arrangements. Here we've got the shrubby convolvulus with the beautiful flowers. You'll recognise that from the bindweed family. But again, the lovely textural detail, quite glaucous leaves, and the flower buds, those pinky colours. So they last really well in arranging. Probably not the full open flower so much, but the pieces of greenery will look really great. And here we have Cornus. Looks nothing really when it's in leaf, but come the autumn time when the leaves have fallen, you get these lovely bright stems which are lovely to be able to use in more modern arrangements, and they come in a variety of colours. You might get stems that are red, yellowy, bright green. I would grow that, not so much for its foliage and little flowers, but more for the stems, which are really useful in winter time. These are Hebes. This is quite a small leafed variety. You can get so many varieties you can choose from. Really handy greenery to have. You could be including this in really small flower arrangements made in flower foam. And it's a larger leafed variety here. It's looking a bit worse for wear at the moment. You can see the lovely purple centre, and that opens out into these variegated leaves. And another Hebe. These grow in mounded shapes, so you have to be careful when you cut from them. Sometimes if you cut from the middle, you end up with a great big hole. They do have great stems on them, great length of stem, and actually you could include that into a hand-tied posy if you wanted to. And here's the beautiful Photinia. I think this might be Photinia Red Robin with the red tips, so the new growth has the red tips. And you'll need to wait until they've hardened off until you can add those into your flower arrangements, and then as the bush matures they turn green. And here's the Skimmia japonica. So in the winter time you get lovely berries on here, and then early in the year little spikes of tiny pink buds which will open out into flowers. In fact, you can see it much better on the plant label there. So it's a lovely little bushy shrub. You might like to plant Elaeagnus in your garden. It's a lovely glossy oval shaped leaves with a green centre, and this one's got some yellow fringing on the edge. When their plants are immature, they have a more glaucous, sort of frosted appearance to them. How about planting Pittosporum in your garden? Again, like the Hebe, so many different varieties. It's quite a small leafed variety. You'll get it in variegated forms as well. This is the variegated form of the Pittosporum. And the flower ranger's favourite, Phormium. So really long, sword-like leaves. Great if you're doing just minimal arrangements. And you can also weave with them and plait as well. And here's a tiny Ceanothos. It's got beautiful blue flowers. His children, well, they've had a bush of of this, and we used to stand underneath it and flick it and get covered with blue confetti. Tiny little leaves. I think this is probably a low growing variety, but it also comes in a bush that grows up to a couple of metres high. And this is Viburnum tinus, fabulous all times of year, an evergreen plant that has tiny white buds open out into little flowers, and then later in the season you get berries which darken from this reddish colour to a deep bluey black. And there you've got the different stages of the plant with the little white flowers and the tiny pink buds. This is Euonymus, so a lovely glossy evergreen plant, and again comes in lots of varieties, some of them plain green leaves and some of the variegation in white. Box makes a great foliage as well, so either trim it and keep it as a little topiary shape, or let it go wild and use the short pieces of greenery to add into your arrangements. I do hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, do give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel where I'll share lots of handy flower arranging hints and tips, and hit the notification bell so you always know when I upload a new video. I'll see you another time.